Dear panelists, dear participants, welcome to Rise and Start BIZ Talks. Before we start, I would like to inform you that the translation is available. So the translation is available in French and English. You can click on the translation button that appears on your screen. It's a real pleasure for us to receive young entrepreneurs from some parts of African countries. We will share the experience with this large community of young people who want to start a business and realize the dream. Rise and Start BIZ Talk is a business online community event for beginners. Our forums will help you to get knowledge to start your own business. We are sure that this sharing of experience will bring you answers to all your concerns. Now, I would like to present the agenda of this event. So this event will take place as follows. We are starting by opening remarks. Then we will have a video introduction of Rise movement. Afterward, we will introduce the panelists while we are sharing their bios in the chat. And next, we will have the sharing of each panelist. Afterward, we will have Q&A session. During this time, the participant will be able to ask a question to the panelists, and we will finish with some announcements. Thank you. Now, allow me to introduce myself before continuing. I'm Pangil Wilfred Diarra. I'm the Sub-Regional President of International Association of Youth and Students for Peace for North Africa. One of our objectives in IAYSP is to promote character education for youth who contribute to peace and sustainable development in the world. I'm also part of this amazing Rise family as a writer and editor. It's a great pleasure for me to be the moderator for this event. Speaking of Rise, what is the mission, objective, and vision of Project Rise? I invite you to follow this video of Project Rise. If the technical part is ready, we will share the video.
Hey, thank you so much for signing up. We are very excited for you. We believe that you are here for a reason. I think this is going to be your breakthrough to getting started on changing your destiny and creating the life you've always wanted. But first, what is a Rise entrepreneur? A Rise entrepreneur is someone who takes personal responsibility for a problem that wasn't their own. While most of the world runs away from problems, we risers see a problem and feel called to step up and figure out a way to solve it. Every good business starts this way, and that's how we're going to transform Africa, together. Rise is building a movement of young entrepreneurs who take responsibility rather than being victims to circumstances, who looks for a solution rather than making excuses, who focuses on what they want rather than why they can't, who creates their own destiny by putting in the daily work. This is the Rise mentality. Are you ready to set aside your doubts, your fears, your excuses, and why you think you can't? Because you're not alone. Because together, we can. Listen, we understand very well that it's not easy to start your own business and to be an entrepreneur. There's a lot of information out there that can be very confusing and you don't know where to start. Or maybe you don't have access to the right information. Maybe you're worried that entrepreneurship is not for you, that you keep pushing it off and maybe it's too late to get started. Maybe you think you're not smart enough. You've been told your whole life that you'll never aspire to anything. You have no support. The people around you, the government, no one's helping you find the resources and accessing the tools that you need to succeed. You believe that you need a lot of money to be able to start a business. And that's just not true. There's a lot of people out there who have become successful with zero capital. You just need to know how. You need the right strategy. And that's why we're here to help you. That's why we created this special event so that you can overcome everything that's challenging you and make it easier for you to succeed. My name is Steve Winter, and I am the project manager of Rise. At Rise, we believe that entrepreneurs called by a higher purpose have a unique mission to impact the lives of the people that they've been called to serve. And our job at Rise is to help you navigate your calling so you can have the right strategy, leadership skills, and skill sets needed to succeed. There are many ways for you to grow with us. Whether you want to develop your professional skills at Rise University or connect with other entrepreneurs at Rise and Start Biz Talks, or get smarter daily on our social media posts, or learn new skills fast with our accelerated skills learning program, we got you covered. Thank you very much for participating in this awesome program. On behalf of Rise, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks to the technical team for sharing the video. Now, I'm sure you're all excited to discover our panelists. We have 4 panelists today. They will each have 10 minutes of sharing. And they are going to share about these following points. 1, what was the internal desire and external result they wanted to achieve? 2, what is the business vehicle they create to get the results? 3, what was the internal belief they needed to overcome to get the results? And 4, what was the external obstacle they needed to overcome to get the results? So now let's discover the panelists. The first speaker that we have today is from Benin, and his name is Jean Bosco. The second speaker is from Ivory Coast, and she's a social entrepreneur, and she's from Ivory Coast, a social entrepreneur, and she's the second panelist today. The third is Mr. Felix Guy, and he's from Senegal. And the last speaker is Flor Marina from Burkina Faso. They are the amazing panelists that we have today. You can find their bios in this chat. Let's give a round of applause to all the speakers. So now let's receive the first panelist. As we announced, the first panelist is Mr. Jean Bosco. We have the video recorded of Mr. Jean Bosco. So if the technical part is ready, we'll share the video of Mr. Jean Bosco from Benin. Thank you.
Hello, dear participants, dear internet users. I am Bosco Danon, promoter of a household appliance company. We promote and sell computer appliances and household appliances. The internal desire in creating this company was to overcome unemployment. You probably know that the world today, usually Africa, is full of unemployed people, and the internal desire was to escape that side and also help our brothers and sisters from here and there who were also struggling with unemployment just like me. And the result is such that we have succeeded in setting up RC Store. We have established ourselves and we are making good progress. So when we created RC Store, we were very small. The company was very small and nobody knew us. We had to go on social medias, Facebook, Instagram, and everything you may know, to advertise, to promote our business. We were forced to do boostings that were paid for, very expensive in fact, and we are now well known. We also use the policies of our contacts, our brothers and sisters, friends who are at home, who are on social networks. We take the picture of our devices and we send to them. We offer them at a reseller price, partner prices, and so they take care of the distribution and also earn a profit. This also allowed to reduce a little bit the unemployment, help our daily lives. So the policy that we really used with the customers was to offer them at least 2 years of warranty. We often start from 1 to 2 years warranty on our products. We offer free delivery. We also offer after-sale service. This gives the customer a kind of security, and it allows them to come back to us when they need other items. And it also allows them to advertise our products to those around them. So when we created RSC Store, when we were creating it first, we thought that everything would be fine, because when we will be full, then we create our RSC Store and then we just put in the products and then we start to sell. But already, just when we created the premises, when we arranged the premises, I can already guarantee you that there we had our first difficulty. And that was that we had no more means to put products in the store. It was so complicated. We didn't think that we would have difficulties even at the beginning. So we had to overcome all these challenges that we had to meet in reality on the field, because we imagined that we will create the building and the company and everything will be fine. We will say we are selling refrigerators, we are selling computers, and customers will come and we will start to sell. But it was totally different. So speaking of obstacles or hurdles, there are so many that I couldn't say everything here. There are so many mountains to climb. Already when we created RSC Store, we had a hard time putting the products and making partnerships. So today I'm promoting Roche brand appliances. Initially, when we went to this company, they told us no. They were adamant that they could not work with us because we were too small to work with them. So we tried, so we got together with other stores that were doing the same thing as us. We tried to put them in, have a trust with them to take the products and put it in the stores and to sell. And it was very complicated still, because it was necessary to establish a link of trust, a bond of trust with the store, which wanted to trust us a lot by giving us their products. It was very complicated. And this person started by giving us the products and the fridges one by one. Like, they give us a fridge, you manage to sell the fridge in a record time, you bring the money back and you take another one. Here he was already on the verge of being a supplier for us, even though he had a store. So we started like that and selling little by little, one by one, as I said earlier, with the store. It gave him the trust, the confidence, and one day he calls us and says, "Oh, okay, Mr. Bosco, where are you? Come to my office." And I went to his office and he said, "Okay, I trust you. Now we're going to work on a partnership." I provided the document he asked for. We signed some papers, and he said, "Well, let's go to the store. You take whatever products you want." And I was very shocked. So that's already where we started to sell better, to fill the store, to promote the appliances, and strangely enough, we promoted the Roche brand better. So the Roche brand that's had, I would say, turned us away. And today, it is so that that same big Roche brand store came to us and asked, "But how can we work together?" And we said, "But we went to you, but you turned us away." And they said, "Well, we don't remember." So this is just to encourage all those who are currently following us to keep on working, to keep on doing what they do. And to never give up, because getting a result is very complicated. It's very difficult. It's not easy at all. So it is the opportunity for me to say thank you to all those who have allowed me to participate in this event. I encourage you. Thank you for the promotion that you do for us. Thank you to all those who support this activity.
Thank you,
all.
Mr. Jean Bosco. Let's give a round of applause for Mr. Jean Bosco. Thank you for his presentation. As we can see, it's never easy at the beginning, but the most important is to believe in you and make it a reality. Thank you once again, Mr. Jean Bosco. Now, we are going to receive the second panelist, Her name is Anaïs Dagrou. She is from Ivory Coast. She is a social entrepreneur. She promotes youth leadership, and she has many realizations on several fields. Miss Anaïs, the floor is yours.
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. As we said, so my name is Anaïs. I'm originally from Ivory Coast and Burundi, but I grew up in different countries. So as Wilfried said, I'm a social entrepreneur. We don't usually talk about social entrepreneurs, but what we do is that instead of like resolving a problem and then making money, we try to resolve community-based problems. So we are trying to put into place different projects to resolve community-based problems. So in my case, I was very focused on the education of young girls in Ivory Coast. So I put into place a project called Mouvement Femmes et Paroles. The aim was to build a community in which women will have the power to say whatever they want and have access to education. So with that project, we educated more than, I think, since 2020, we created the project in 2020. We have educated more than 400 girls. But it was not just in Abidjan, it was also in different cities in Ivory Coast. So what was kind of like hard for us, I'll say, especially for social entrepreneurs, is the fact that you're supposed to gather people to help you for your work, but you're not paying them. So it's kind of like hard to gather people to share your vision, share your mission, share your values without paying them. So I think like that's the slightly difficult part for social entrepreneurs, because we don't have money to do what we're doing. We just have faith, we just have, I'll say, motivations. So it's kind of like hard to, all the time you're supposed to run everywhere to beg for money to people. So either the government, either some companies that maybe are sharing the same values as you. So it's not easy on a daily basis. And I know even like an entrepreneur, it's not easy on a daily basis, but I feel like as a social entrepreneur, you can't control anything because you just don't have the money, right? So you just need to try to find like more ways, new ways to find money on a daily basis, which I feel like it was hard for us, especially, I know not everyone is from Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, but when we talk about the education of girls, they don't really believe in education for girls. Some people still feel like in Ivory Coast, you're just, girls don't need to get educated about multiple things, right? When we talk about education, it's not just going to school. It's also know about consent, sexual violence. We talk about period too. So it's like how to educate them to be better women in our society. Because when we educate women, girls, you're raising better women for later, right? So I think that one of the main obstacles for us was getting money to do bigger thing, I'll say. It's been 2 years, but we had the help of the government, we had the help of other associations, embassies also. We have a lot of embassies here that believe in the education of girls and women in Ivory Coast. So I think that was kind of like a relief for us to know that some people actually believe in the values that we share. The second obstacle I'll say in Africa is that everything that I've learned about education for girls, I learned that in Canada. So when I came back, I was kind of like, why you're taking things from Canada to like come back with that back home? Like, whatever you're teaching us, it's for like Canadian people, it's not for us. But when we talk about education, it's for everyone, right? Canadian people had the absolutely luck to have access to education, right? The girls, most of them, I'll say. So it was kind of like they didn't want to have another system that is different from what we're used to see. So it was a big obstacle for us because not everyone wanted to follow us. Not everyone wanted to believe in whatever we were sharing. So it wasn't easy from at the beginning, but I'll definitely say that after 2 years, we've been going in schools, we've been going, even though some cities and some villages, they don't have schools, we've been going to communities to talk to them, to share experiences, to kind of see what kind of resources we can share with them. They have been pretty receptive about that since 2 years. So I'll definitely say that the work that we're doing is helping some communities. And I feel like as a social entrepreneurs, if you want to know if you're doing a good job, it's to, you can't actually have, you know what I said at the beginning, we educated 400 girls, like we gave them the resources, right? We don't know if they're going to use the resources, but to make sure that you're doing a good job is that at the end of the day, you're happy with the resources that you shared. And then you know that even though those 400 might not use those resources, other people listen to what we said, and they might share to their communities too on the long term, right? And I'll definitely say that our aim is not just to stay in Ivory Coast. It's definitely to go in other countries in Africa. We want to share everything that we're sharing in Côte d'Ivoire. The problem with education for girls is not just in Côte d'Ivoire, in Africa. So we definitely want to go to Senegal, to Benin, to different countries that we can actually reach. And yeah, if you have any questions, so that's about social entrepreneurs. So I'm also an entrepreneur, not a social entrepreneur. So I know the difference, and I prefer to say that I'm a social entrepreneur because I feel like as a social entrepreneur, you're kind of like answering your life, like the purpose of your life. And for me, it's like more meaningful to be a social entrepreneur. Of course, to be an entrepreneur is good. You're getting money, you know, it's great. But at the end of the day, depending on the person and how you feel like you need to help your community. And you feel like you need to bring something new, right? And something that will be refreshing so that when you go to bed, you're like, yeah, I did something good for my community at the end of the day. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Ms. Dagro. You are a great model for young women. You are a great model for young women, and I can imagine how much your community is very proud of you. Thanks to your sharing today, we will have more young ladies as you who will become the best leaders in their community and in the nation. Once again, let's give a round of applause to Ms. Anaïs Dagro.
Thanks.
Now, let's receive the third panelist. His name is Mr. Felix Guy from Senegal. He is the owner of a travel agency in Senegal. Let's receive Mr. Guy with the round of applause. Mr. Guy, the floor is yours.
Hello. First, just want to say thank you for everyone, especially for just putting this event together. I think that just any time for people to come together and share their stories, share their passions, share their business, and just network is a really valuable opportunity. So I'm happy to have the chance to share a little bit about my experience and my story. David, he told me to send a quick bio. I wasn't sure what to say. So I'll just start with a quick introduction to myself. My name is Felix. I'm currently living in Senegal. I was born and raised in New York. I moved to Senegal about 3 years ago. 3 years ago in June 2019. And honestly, the reason that I came was with the aspect of business in my mind. I come a couple times when I was younger, but when I finished college in 2018, I had the chance to come back just to visit my grandma. And when I came back in 2018, it was the first time that just as someone with a bit more experience, a bit older, I could look around and just see the different opportunities that I felt like were open to me here that I might not necessarily have if I was somewhere else. And I think that just kind of pushed me to dive in. and try to see what I could do here. And that's kind of been the journey that I've been on over these past 3 years. So to kind of go over some of these questions, the talking points that they wanted us to address. And the first one was about internal desire and external result. For me, I think my internal, like what I wanted to achieve, like internally and externally, like it always came from what I had seen from the people that had come before me. I think any young boy kind of looks up to his dad as like his superhero. So they kind of try to emulate what they've done in different ways. And for me, I always had that interest in business. But one thing about my dad was that he was a super hard worker, and everyone in his family kind of looked up to him. He was one of the oldest in the family. He was the second oldest in the family. So anytime they needed to get something done, or if they needed something, whether it was money or advice, they would come to him. And I think kind of seeing that, it made me realize that I needed to get to a place myself where I could be that same pillar for the people around me, whether it's for my friends, for my family, for my community. And in the world we live in today, I think realistically, a lot of that comes from being very stable financially. And oftentimes to reach that financial stability, you kind of need to go a little bit your own way. Of course, you can get a job and you can be very successful on that. But I think sometimes there's kind of a cap to that. And then when you kind of are able to, you can do that, of course, but when you're kind of able to have your own business and do more in that field, I feel like it'll give you that kind of stability and that freedom. So I think that was always the result that I wanted to achieve. And that's always what was kind of pushing me towards business and pushing me towards trying to be successful in business. The second question is the actual business vehicle that I created to get that desired result. I consider myself interested in so many different things. So I wasn't even sure what business to talk about because I feel like I'm in so many different businesses. But the one that's most interesting to me right now is the travel agency, I guess, that they spoke about. I don't know if I myself consider it a travel agency, but it's a project that I have with some of my friends called No Boundaries. And coming from New York and having like a big network over there, I felt like it was such a different experience for me to come to Senegal and just see how people were living here and just the stark contrast. And I wanted to give that experience to the people that I grew up with. And a lot of it was in different aspects. So I went to undergrad in New York University. I studied finance and economics. And I knew that right now young people are very, very, very interested in investment. And I think generally they're interested in the investments that you hear about all the time: Bitcoin, regular stock market, invest in Google, things like this. But I think that when you can give them like another vehicle for investment, that is very intriguing to them. So my idea for the travel business was I'm going to take people here, I'm going to show them a great time in Senegal. And on top of that, I'm going to show them investment opportunities. So now once they come here, they have a great time, they love the country. They also have a way that they can continue to invest into the country, whether it's through investing in transport, whether it's through investing in agriculture, whether it's through investing in real estate. They just come here and they see that there's so much opportunity. I think everyone is always looking for the next gold rush. When you were in school, you heard about the American gold rush in the 1800s and how people who were the first one to get there were the ones that were going to reap the most benefit from it. I think now we're kind of going through a similar type of time here, like across the continent. I think a lot of people aren't aware of it, but for those who are aware, it's such a big opportunity. You're seeing everyone currently come to the continent, whether it's the Chinese coming in and doing whatever infrastructure projects they have, Indians coming and bringing their IT projects. So I feel like it's also for us who are from here and where parents are from here to kind of do that same thing. So that was always in my mind, is trying to bring that vehicle here, or people could just continuously invest, but also just have a great time and enjoy the culture that Senegal has to share. And hopefully afterwards that other countries have to share. If I can branch out, so I should be contacting some of you guys soon too in Benin, Ivory Coast. I would love to have the chance to get people to explore those places as well. In terms of limiting belief, I think for me and for a lot of people, the concept of imposter syndrome. For those who don't know what that is, imposter syndrome is the idea that like maybe I'm not, like, why am I here type of thing. Like, why am I in this position, and should I even be here? Am I actually capable of doing this? So I think a lot of people struggle with that, and it's just, it's something that can be very limiting, to be honest. I don't think it's something that you just get over just like this, but it's kind of like an everyday thing that you have to realize, like, I did A, B, and C to get myself to this current location, and that means that I deserve to be here. And even if I don't deserve to be here, I got here, so I have to be successful in where I am. If I made it this far, then I can only continue to push and continue to try to get further. Like I said, I don't think that's necessarily something that you'll just think about one day and then you'll tackle it and now you're on to the next thing. It's kind of like an everyday thing. But I think that type of conflict in some ways is kind of good. I mean, like a life with no conflict is not interesting. Like you need those little challenges every day to kind of push you forward. So I kind of try to view it like that. It's okay, that's another obstacle. It's another hurdle that I jumped over, but that means I did that. Let me jump over the next hurdle and the next hurdle and the next hurdle. And when it comes to the external obstacle, if I look at any business that I started, I think that the hardest thing is always to start. I think that going from like idea to reality is very difficult. Like everyone has great ideas, but for some reason to actually take that idea and make it into something that's real and something that's tangible is always a huge challenge. So even for me with the first time that I did a trip, it was in November of 2021. And like I didn't think that people would actually come. Like, of course, I had friends and everything like this, but the idea if they would actually have to buy a ticket that I come all the way to Senegal, a place that they've never been to, a place that they've hardly ever even heard of. I was like, what do I need to do to actually make that happen? Of course, you can ask people, but that's never going to be enough. And then on the ground, all the things that you have to set up. But I think that once you kind of get over that thing in your mind that no, I just have to take that first step. You take that second step, third step, then next thing you know, you start running. And then even if it doesn't work, you kind of have to leave it and jump to the next thing. I think there's never the first thing you do is going to be successful. But if you do 10 things, then chances are maybe one of them will be successful. So yeah, I think the difficulty is always trying to start. But once you start, and once you start multiple things as well, you see that there's always that chance for success. And to me, that's exciting, just the possibility of succeeding. So yeah, I would always recommend to just take that first step, take that leap, and start. I think that kind of leads you onto the path of success. But those are all the questions. So thank you guys for hearing me out. I'm excited to hear the other speakers as well.
Thank you very much, Mr. Guy, for this wonderful sharing. I'm sure that your experience is already inspiring most of our people attending this event today. Once again, congratulations for your realization, and we wish you all the best for the next step. Thank you so much. We are now moving to the last panelist, and this time we will have a young lady from Burkina Faso. She's the owner of a model agency, but not only that, I will let you discover the huge business she has. Welcome to Miss Flo with a round of applause.
Good evening to all. I hope that you are all well. I am Flor Marina, a third-year student in Business Communication and Marketing. I am a student in my third year of Business Communication and Marketing. I've been working as an entrepreneur for almost 3 years now. I created my company, and in addition to that, I continue my study. So the company is a group, Team FTO, with several subsidiaries. The first subsidiary is our agency, with a modeling and hostess agency for events, and we also train people in dance and cinema. The second subsidiary is Aura Cleaning, Aura Nettoyage, which is everything related to hygiene, everything related to cleaning. And the third one is Aura Crush, where we help orphans and poor people. In addition to this, we have Aura Events and Aura Service, everything related to events, whether it's decoration for events or interior decoration, including catering. Where there is an activity, we can provide a buffet or catering services. It's a bit the business in general. And to talk a little bit about how I got started, first of all, it was just to boost confidence. Most of the time, people start entrepreneurship to make money. and I did it more to boost confidence and help some people. When I say some people, it started with the first subsidiary, Aura Agency, where I wanted to do modeling. And I contacted some agencies that I wanted to join, and their membership condition did not suit me. So I decided to create my own agency where I would also allow these girls to realize their dream and to start modeling. So at first it was just for the girls. And here I am. I jumped in, and it gave something. After, there is also the society, which is there, because before launching, you will first ask your entourage how it finds the idea, if it's good, especially when you do not have too much confidence in yourself. You will take so much of what they say to you seriously that after it becomes a worry. And in my case, first of all, I had to ask my entourage and my friends to know what they thought of the idea, and it could give what it could give. And since I didn't have much confidence or trust in myself, it was quite complicated. So everything everything they said, I took to heart. So sometimes I would even want to give up. Maybe they would say I don't have the money even to start, but I told myself, why not start? And then I started, and now it works, and I just went for it. So basically, I started with Aura Agency. Normally you need at least a million or so to start an agency. You need at least a million or so to start an agency, and things. And I got up, and I just stood up with 1,400 CFA, and I launched myself, and then jumped in, and something happened. After that, the girls came to register, and I saw that there were also some boys who were interested in modeling. So we also recruited them, and recently we had a graduation ceremony where they received their certificate, and there were also two graduating classes. We had two graduation classes. They received their certificates, and it was all good. So, and given the experience that we had with the staff that I had to create, and I had to learn to work with them, I had to learn to work and still be in school. I had to learn to deal with people, what people are going to say, how I could behave. In fact, I had to learn how to be the promoter of things, because I told myself it's not easy. Those are things that we don't learn in school. It's on the field that you're going to learn it. So especially working with young people who are about the same age as you, there are many things that you have to take in account, the way they feel, how they deal with things. And so that's one thing. But also I had to learn, I believe that Aura Nettoyage also, it was the same. I had to learn how to work with elder people, because some of them will tell you, oh, I have a daughter that's your age, so you need to calm down when you talk to me. Some will even tell you that when you call them, you have to ask if they're available for a service first when there is a cleaning for an event. So all of this is not easy, in fact. And including studies, you can't manage your time, so you have to learn to manage both. You have to learn to manage work and school at the same time, because often there is tests, homework, and there are classes that coincide with your appointment hours or with activities hours. Since we are in a bit of an event business with our agency, often we have fashion shows, often we have hostesses who are on duty. So often you have to choose between the two, but it's not easy to manage the two at the same time. And when that happens, you have to choose between the two, and it becomes a problem because both are important to you. And at some point you have to choose between the two, and it becomes a problem. You'll have to make a schedule that coincides with both, even if it's not obvious that it will work all the time. Most of the time you'll be able to manage with both, and it will be easier. Then there is Oracrush. The Oracrush branch is to help orphans and destitute people, where we collect donations. So we collect donations and we choose an orphanage, and then we go give it to them. So we have 5 or 6 donations that we did in 6 different orphanages, and we have the support of certain structures, certain people who trust us, who accompany us, because at the moment in the country it's not easy, because there are internal displaced people, and everything. So it really helps them, and people do not hesitate to support this channel. And our events is more on the event side, as I said in the beginning. It's more for the event side, and there we have signed with companies where we do subcontracting, especially companies that are in Abidjan, because we had to make a trip to Abidjan where we signed with some companies, and when we have a service here, we manage with them directly, or when it's not necessary, we manage on site. So now, how to manage all this since since I'm a woman, because in Africa, when you start an entrepreneurial venture and you're a woman, I can say that it's a real hindrance. Why is it so? Because people automatically think that because she's a woman, she will not manage things well. So you have to work on imposing yourself on the quality of your work, and also imposing yourself as a woman, showing that yes, I am a woman, but I can do better than a man. So you really have to work on your mindset, on your mind. You have to work on your mind and how to react to certain proposals. Because most of the time when you're a woman and you start a business, you go to a meeting, the guy, instead of listening to the proposals that you have to make about the work, he'll be more likely to make other proposals. That is, you're more beautiful, you're like this, you're like that. Either you leave, you discuss with, well, either you go, you discuss with him, and he's more fixed on your physique. And here, it's also a question of your mental. If you are the impulsive type and you cannot manage your emotion on the spot, you may insult him, or you may even slap him, forgetting that you are the one who is in the weak position. You want something from them. So you need to help them understand, make them understand politely that his advances, you do not need them. You tell them categorically that what he said should not be repeated. So, because if you hit him or you insult him and you go somewhere, because the world is small, as we know, you go into another structure, you may find that the person there is related to that person you were talking to, or he's still running something there, and it becomes a problem. So, yeah, you just answer to the person politely, and maybe he will tell you, oh, we can close some doors for you and things like that. But still, there will be that respect that will be there, even if you meet later on. So I think that is better. It gives a lot more respect than getting up and hitting them or insulting them before leaving. I think that often trying to manage your emotion is also a positive point. I think that's all. But if I have any advice to give to young people, it's this. It's to not hesitate. When you have an idea in mind, you just go ahead without hesitation. I think that if you go while asking yourself questions, is it the right time? If I go for this, is it okay? Is this or is that? Would I or would this? Would I get this? Would I get that? This is not the right way. As soon as you have an idea and you think it's a good idea, no matter what the people will tell you, no matter what your entourage will tell you, no matter what your entourage will give you as advice, you actually take the advice you have inside of you and then you go for it without hesitation. There is no greater strength than knowing how to dare all the time. As long as you dare, you can really give yourself some opportunities that you did not even think you could reach. And also there is the boldness that there, really being bold. I can say that one of my qualities since I started out, this is boldness. I am very bold. Every time I talk with my staff and everyone says, oh, won't there be this, won't there be that? But I'm more of a visionary. I view things on the long term. And so when I decide to do something, even if it's complicated, I don't hesitate. I just go for it. When you just go for it, in any case, you don't lose. Either you learn or it works. According to the Ivorian expression, either it takes or you learn, in fact. So there is no it did not work, because even if it doesn't work out, you still learn something. You learn from your mistake. As long as you don't you won't as long as you don't make mistakes, you won't be able to succeed. Each time when you start something, if you don't succeed, even if there are mistakes, you will learn from that and you will not repeat the same mistakes. When you start again, oh, I did those mistakes, so I will not do them again. So boldness and then self-confidence is also something. Self-confidence is the basis, and it's something that you have to work on. You shouldn't say, oh, I'm the kind of person who doesn't have self-confidence, so I'll stay here. It's something you have to work on. You don't have confidence in yourself. You do things that will help you have confidence in yourself. If you do sports, if you have to do sports to boost your confidence, and go out and do sport every morning. If you have to be, especially for women, for example, when we want to feel beautiful all the time with too much makeup and everything. But if you don't have confidence, self-confidence, and makeup can help you, then go ahead, put on makeup. You put on makeup, you go out, you go do your activities. If you boost your self-confidence, and if you make your confident and it will make you assertive. I always say that what a man can do, a woman can do better and twice as much and twice better. So I always say that when a man does something, it is great, but when a woman does the same thing or even better, then it's even better than that. So I think that being a man is more of a weakness than being a woman, because people think that being a woman is a weakness, but it's not true. If I take the example, we go for an interview, a man and a woman. It depends on how you express yourself, how you impose yourself. If you impose yourself better than the man, or if you impose yourself the same way as the man, but then the job is yours. So you have to be more self-confident, be creative, be more innovative, offer a quality service, and also say to yourself that the state can't hire everyone. You have to start something. Even if you work in a company, why not do something that will make you more money? Anyway, too much meat does not spoil the sauce. All right? You do several activities in the same time where you can earn money. It's good for you. Entrepreneurship, I think it's good because there are so many young people who are starting out, but where that they are starting out, it's good because for young people you can learn and get advice easy. I also say that we are very lucky because we have the chance to learn very easily, but our elders do not have that chance. So you can always ask for support, and there will always be people there to help you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Flo, for your presentation. We are grateful for this opportunity to hear about your achievement. I can see that the participants are very impressed to see a young lady like you who could overcome all the difficulties and who are realizing her dream. Congratulations again. So I hope you can still hear me properly. Now, we'll open the next window of this event. We are now starting the question and answer session. I would like to announce that the participant can write their question, or we already have amazing questions. We received some questions from the participants. So, the first question is for Ms. Dagro. Ms. Dagro, how did you get the motivation to start your work? One of the participants would like to know.
I'll definitely say that when it's about like community issue that you're trying to solve, the motivation is how you really want to help your community. And I feel like I was really, I mean, I'm still the type of person that really wants to make sure that I am in a community and I am doing something for my community. So as a social entrepreneur, but also as an entrepreneur, you're trying to make sure that you're answering to a problem, right? You don't want to be an entrepreneur that, you know, somebody else is already doing that. So you're not bringing something new. For me, innovation is something that is very important. So I'll definitely say that the motivation was that I really wanted to bring something new within my community. Definitely when you talk about the education of women or girls, it's not new, but what is new, it's how you're doing it, the tools that you're using, the resources that you're sharing, and of course your perspective will always be different from someone else, right? Depending of like how you're talking to other people, right? When I go to those community, I really talk with passion. I really like, it's not just like I'm taking my time, I am taking the money that nobody's giving me, right, to bring that to my community, because that's something that on the long term I want to make sure that other girls have the same opportunities as me. So yeah, definitely I'll say that it's important, and I don't want to like, maybe not everyone feel like that, but I feel like it's important for me everywhere I go to make sure that I have an impact. Like literally everywhere I go. Like I don't go anywhere, and like I don't want to go anywhere and then nobody like noticed that I was there. For me, it's important to have an impact wherever you're going. So I feel like that's the main motivation for me.
Thank you so much, Ms. Dagro. We still have a question for Ms. Dagro. Someone say, I love how you spoke about educating girls. I would like to know how to educate boys as well.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So what is good with our project too is that we don't exclude boys, men. So what we do is that we're convinced that the education of girls goes along with the education of boys, especially when we're going to schools and we're talking about consent. Consent is not just for girls, it's also for boys. So of course it's super important, but also you need to know that, you know, when you have a project, you need to know your audience, right? Our main audience is of course the girls, women, but we don't exclude men or boys when we're doing our interventions. So yeah, that's a great question. We don't forget about men, even though y'all are forgetting about us. We don't forget about men. We think about men and the education of men and boys too.
Thank you so much, Ms. Dagro. We have more questions for you, but we want to read this question from the participant. This is for Mr. Guy. Mr. Guy, how did you actually handle the hurdle of imposter syndrome?
How did I handle the hurdle of imposter syndrome? I think that honestly, I kind of feel like it was just through work. I feel like because imposter syndrome essentially, like as I was explaining, it's like the idea that you don't belong. So if I give the example, I think oftentimes for people it creeps up, say in college, like you go to university and you're looking around, you're like, man, my classmates are like maybe smarter than me, more intelligent than me, like higher achieving than me. Like why am I in this? Like why am I here? And then I think the way to get over it is to kind of like prove to yourself that you actually do belong there. I think the way to do that is kind of just to like push yourself to, I don't want to say the limit. That's kind of corny, but like just see how much you can actually do. So if you have that first test and you think you don't belong and you study, you're going to do well. And then you're going to prove to yourself like, oh, actually, no, I did good. I do belong here. I can be with the people around me. And then I think once you do that just once, then you can kind of always go back to that and kind of tell yourself that, okay, yeah, actually, I do belong here. I've shown myself that I belong here. Like, let me actually celebrate myself and just continue to push forward.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Guy, for your answer. We have a question to Miss Marina Flor. Oh, how did you start your agency with only 1,400 CFA? Interesting. I think Miss Flo couldn't hear the question. Okay. I will just ask in French. Comment avez-vous été en mesure de commencer votre business avec seulement 1400 francs CFA?
So first of all, what were the 1,400? Because I didn't start with 1,400. Let's be really clear. If we really are going to be clear, it wasn't 1,400, it was 0. Because the 1,400, it was 1,000 for the data and 400 for the logo. I made the logo on credit where I just took the 400 and I said, you take the 400 here and then I'll give you the money when I have it. So it was more like that. I started with 0. And then how did I manage to get the sources, income sources? I started an online business where I would sold clothes. I ordered in China, and when it came, I just sold them. And that's where I got sources of income and tried to reinvest. And that's where I was able to finance the project. So we are not going to tell you that entrepreneurship is easy. It is not easy at all, because if you start entrepreneurship, it's debts, it is sleepless nights. It's always thinking to bring more innovation, because in every field of activity there is competition. Competition is not small competition. We are all young together. We are all young, and we are trying to do our best. So it's not a question of money. If you dare to do something, then you don't have to worry anymore. You will find a solution to get the money, that's for sure. You just have to go for it.
Thank you so much, Ms. Fleur. We still have a question for Ms. Marina. How did you know how to start your agency, Ms. Marina? Alors, comment est-ce que vous avez su par où commencer votre agence, Mademoiselle Marina?
How did I know where to start? First, I took advice. I tried to educate myself. Right now, there's YouTube that's out here. There's social media. I tried to do some research to at least get an idea of how to start modeling, how to do it. So I went to see a trainer who was going to train models to at least have a base. And then I asked some people who already have their agency. I went to see them saying, I want to start my own business. I want to create my own agency. I want some advice. How did you start? They tried to advise me, but it's obvious that they didn't give away all their secrets. They are not going to tell me, oh, you have to go this way, you have to go that way. No, you have to be creative. I always say that entrepreneurship is not for everyone. Of course, everyone wants to be an entrepreneur, because nowadays everyone is talking about entrepreneurship, but entrepreneurship is not for everyone. You have to know what you want to do and what you can do. You don't have to get up and start something because others are doing so. And in whatever field you want to go into, you have to rub shoulders with those who have already gone into it. They are the ones who know what it's like on the ground. They'll give you advice. They are not going to tell you. Not all of them are going to give you good advice. Some are not even going to give you all their secrets, but they are going to help you, give you a little bit of an idea of what's out there, and you're going to do some research to get information so you can enrich what you can do.
Thank you so much, Ms. Fleur. Now we have the last question for both of you, Ms. Fleur and Ms. Anaïs. Ms. Fleur and Ms. Dagro. Did you already encounter a moment when you felt down to the point to even quit? If yes, how did you keep going and how did you maintain your motivation? So we will start with Ms. Anaïs. Ms. Anaïs, you have it.
Do you mind repeating the question, please?
Have you already encountered a moment when you felt down? If yes, how did you keep going and how did you maintain your motivation?
Yeah, so I think that definitely when I was talking while answering question, I was saying that I kind of when I arrived, some people didn't really listen to what we had to say. And definitely an example was when I went to my village, and that definitely made me understand that I'm never going to change the vision that we have here about girls. And it was kind of like sad because, you know, before going in another country, the only idea or the only ideal place that you know is like where you're coming from, right? So they literally made me understand that nothing will change. Whatever the work that you're going to do, it's never going to change. So it's kind of hard to hear that, because you're expecting that your community or the people that you grew up with are going to be the first one to help you, to cheer you. So it was kind of like hard for me to kind of understand how to change their perspectives. Especially, you can educate people, but you need to understand where they're coming from and then how to educate them, right? And that's something that I didn't understand at the beginning. So I was kind of like, I won't say sad, I'll definitely say disappointed, but why I didn't stop, I'll definitely say the main reason is that I believe in everything that I'm doing. I know that on the long term, in 5 to 10 years, like, I'm going to change the education in Ivory Coast. So like she said before, you need to be, you need to believe in whatever you're doing. And I do believe in everything that I'm doing. I'm very self-confident because I know what I can do and I know what I cannot do. And I feel like that's something that's my purpose in life, is that it's to help my community when we talk about education, especially for girls. So I feel like that's what I'm supposed to do in my entire life. So I'm not going to stop until I die. So I guess that's my motivation.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gro. Thank you. Now we are waiting for the answer of Miss Marina.
To tell you the truth, it happens very often. It happens very often that you find yourself in certain situations where you really want to give up. You tell yourself, if it keeps going like this, will you be able to keep going? For example, I can say that there are two major situations that I have experienced that made me want to give up, brought me to giving up. The first one was when I was organizing my mother's promotional outing. So I went to a company where I wanted support. And after the appointment, the person, he said, "There's no problem. I'll help you." And he was a man who was at the head of the company. He told me, "There's no problem. I will support you." And I was happy, and I went home. He gave me an appointment after 1 week, and the next week I went there. I told him, "Okay, so," and he told me, "Okay, so I wanted a support of 2 million and something." And if I'm not mistaken, he told me that instead of 2 to 3 million, he will round it up to 5 to 6 million. The condition was that, excuse me for the wording, the condition was that I had to go to bed with him and his father. And I was shocked to see that someone would have this mentality and even be able to get these words out of his mouth. Then I told myself, well, it is not the first time someone made me these proposals, and it happens, but this time was definitely too much. And I told myself, everyone has principles and their values, and it really played on me. Afterwards, I told myself, well, I'm going to give it, because entrepreneurship, in any case, it's not forced. There is school here. I can just earn my degree and then be hired somewhere and then get paid every month. That works too. So I will just give up. And after thinking, I saw that anyway. Why take it to heart and give up? Why take it to heart and give up? Because they already succeeded. That's why you went to ask for support. So sure, it really touched you, but why not show them that, yeah, it did show you, it did touch you, but you're not going to accept to go through unscrupulous practices to get support to reach your objective. And there was also the fact that my strength is that I work with young people. My models, they wrote to me, they try to support me, And it really lifted my spirits. And I thought, these people, I set my goal to myself, actually, I told myself in 5 years, they are the ones who will come and ask me for support. And that's what I really, really want to do in 5 years. They are going to come sit in my office and say, here, we want support from you. Also, there was also the fact that the premises, in fact, because when you start a business here in Burkina, first of all, they tell you you have to have your papers, you have to to show that the papers to show that you have your IFU number and SCCM and everything. So that's okay. I got all of it. But then people will always ask you, where are you located? We need an appointment with you. So where are you located? So we can come to you. And so to be more credible when you have a meeting, you need a location. Because when you don't have a location, they are going to say, oh, yeah, here's another young person who just want to show off, want to say he has a business or she has a business, but they don't have a place. So that's going to tend to lower your morale. And as long as you're not strong, every time someone asks you the question, first of all, you will be embarrassed. You're going to either answer, maybe you're going to force a smile on your face, or you're going to tell them, oh, I don't have somewhere, or you're going to lie. But that's not a good thing. It's always going to be a hurdle for you to overcome. So you need to have somewhere. Those are the two things that really affected me the most since I started entrepreneurship. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Once again, thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Dagro and Ms. Marina. So now we have a question for all the panelists. The last one. What advice would you give to someone who is about to start but is afraid? So I would like to ask to Mr. Guy to give his advice.
I think similar to what I said before, I would say, and I think the other panelists have kind of repeated it as well. But I think the best advice is really just to start, just to try. I feel like it's almost natural to stumble. Like that'll, like if you happen to fail, that's almost to be expected. But it's like that old adage that you kind of have to fail and fail and fail, and then eventually you'll lead to success. So I would suggest just starting out. I think starting can be in multiple ways. You have people around you, start just having those conversations, look at what the realistic next steps look like. Like try to find like a realistic thing that you know you can do in terms of like the first step, and then make that first step happen. And then once you're successful with that first step, now you can take that second and that third step and that fourth step. But yeah, I think it really just comes with just having that initiative to actually take that first step and then just start.
Thank you so much. Now, I would like to ask to Mr. Gru.
I'll definitely say, like I said before, it's definitely believe in whatever you're doing. If you feel like I mean, we all have something that we believe in. So if you believe that you can bring something new to the table, if you believe that you can help your community, if you believe that you have, like innovative ideas, definitely start. But I saw someone who talked about, do you start because you want money or because you love doing what you are doing as an entrepreneur? I feel like the most important for me is like love what you're doing, because when you don't love it, even though you get money, you won't feel like you bring something new. You won't feel like you're helping your community. So for me, loving what we're doing and believe in what we're doing is super important. So my advice would definitely to find something that you like, find how what you like can maybe help other people, and then just start. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ms. Anaïs Dagro. Also, thank you someone is saying that we have authentic answers to real questions. So we are very proud of that. Thank you so much. It looks like Miss Marina is having some issues with connections. So I would like to introduce now Mr. Stefan Winter. He is the project manager of RISE. And we want to welcome Mr. Stefan for the closing remarks. Mr. Stefan, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful to see all these wonderful, shiny faces. I also want to say thank you on behalf of RISE and our team to the panelists who came today to give such honest, authentic sharing. I think you touch a lot of our hearts by being here with your message and inspired all of us. RISE is a movement of young people in Africa to kind of take control of where they're at in the situations in their life and to see how they can make a difference with the passions that they have inside of them to serve God, to serve our fellow Africans. And we want to empower each of us. I grew up in Africa. I was born and raised in Ivory Coast and in Nigeria. So I consider myself African to the core. And my brother and I are working together with an amazing team of people to make this happen. And I'd like to extend an invitation to you all to come to our next events. We would like to have one every month or so and hear more wonderful people like Mrs. Dagro and Mr. Guy and what's the next name? Yeah. Forgive me if I don't remember everybody's names. But I would like to have more of you come. And so thank you very much. I might take over our wonderful moderator's job if I say this, but maybe I'll just go ahead and say it. Please, panelists, share how can we reach you, all the participants, how can we follow you on your social media, how can we stay in touch and help you in your business. You've given us so much valuable information. And also, there would be a way for you to send out a, to fill out a feedback form for everyone who's participating. So anyways, thank you so much. I'm grateful to be here with all of you. Thank you for attending. And I give the floor back to our wonderful moderator, Pangyo.
Thank you so much, Mr. Steve Winter. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, dear panelists and participants. This marks the end of our event. Before we close the session, I just want to announce that we want to have the links of social media of the different panelists that we have today as the project manager announced. So I have other announcements. Firstly, for those who registered for this event and follow the 3 steps to get access to the bonus we offer, you will receive access to the bonus in an email after this event. And for those who did not follow the 3 steps to get the bonus, you will have another chance next month. In addition, we have a short survey for everyone to fill out so we can improve how we serve you in future events. Please find the link in the chat and in your emails. Also, if you have not done so already, please follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and you will receive daily information that will make sure and that will make you smarter and more successful. Thank you very much.